Competing against Belarus, the second round USA and Russia, and the third round Russia and Poland. So let's have a look what is going on in the piste.
As you know, the round robin event is an opportunity for every team fencing every other team. So there's two girls, on each two athletes on each team, and they will fence every other team, 1 minute, one touch. And so as you go through the round robin, it's exciting to focus on one strip the way you have this set up. And again, you have piece A through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 strips that the athletes will be working on. We'll be focused on strip A. And by focusing on strip A, you will be able to follow every single team in the competition. So it's a great setup.
And every single point counts, because at the end of the competition, 1 point, it's like a 1 second in a last event.
It's interesting in pentathlon. At the end of the day, the pentathlon tests the most complete athlete of the Olympic Games. It is the Olympic test for that. So what happens here, what really matters is who crosses that finish line first at the end of the combined. The combined being the combined laser shooting and running event. And so you're right, every touch is equal to seconds. So if it's 6 points per touch, it's 6 seconds per hit. So every time you get a victory, that's 6 more seconds ahead of your opponent.
Maybe we are ready to show up what is going on the piste. As we could heard from the fencing hall, they have started third round. And there is a Polish team, yeah.
That's a good way to start.
And Margot Isaacsen on our screens, but let's have a see what is going on with piste A. Polish team against Russia, am I right?
That's exactly what you have. Yeah, you have Poland, Russia. This is a great matchup. You got Kuruskina from Russia. Again, she's had a great season this year. She's coached by Alex Haplanov, a former pentathlete himself and a former world champion. Excellent fencer. Keeps her hand low off on a French grip. Gives her that extra distance. She's not the tallest girl in the world, so by holding her grip, notice how her hand is behind the guard there. It's about 3 or 4 inches behind the guard. That gives her, it's like she's 3 or 4 inches higher. I can't see the lights quite on that one. It looks like it was a double touch. Again, double touches in pentathlon fencing, they don't count. It's as if nothing happened. A double touch just means the athletes have both.
So they must
keep going. Yeah. That's right. Remember, they have 1 minute for one touch. Double touches, they hit with almost exactly the similar. There you go, Kuruskina from Russia does what she's good at. That extra 4 inches. She just set up a shot, and again, the target is any place on the body. So she was able to hit the Polish athlete by hit her in the wrist.
And now Oktavia Nowacka here, she is really tall. I don't know actually how tall she is, but she is really tall, as we can see. And she's really talented athlete. She won this year World Cup.
Octavia Nowaska is a superstar. This woman has had a breakout season. She is the big hope for the Polish women's team. I'm expecting great things out of her, and she's a very nice person. I've had a lot of opportunities to talk with her, and so she's very pleasant. She's very humble for an athlete of that level. So let's see how this match turns out here.
She's a young athlete. She's just 23 years old, and she's on the first position in Senior World Cup ranking. And now let's have a look.
Yeah, her opponent is Fakhrudinova. Yeah, her Fakhrudinova from Russia is her opponent. She uses that height. Notice how she keeps her arm back. She's disguising her length, her height, by holding that arm back. She's hoping to deceive her opponent, give herself an extra, half a meter. She's letting Fakhrudinova push her back on the strip a bit, control the bout a bit, but I think that's all deception. And there, yes, there you go. Yep, I think that's what we're going to see a lot of today. Nowaska is, like I said, she's had a great season, a breakout season for her, and to be competing at home, it's a very special opportunity to be able to represent your country at home, for World Championships.
Hopefully Poland will get another medal from the World Championships. I'm crossing my fingers for that, because I'm Polish, so this is normal that I support my Polish team. Probably the same as you are supporting
the Americans, but don't forget, our head coach is Janusz Peczek.
Oh, he is Polish.
We all feel half Polish with our head coach being one of the Polish Olympic champions.
And we're supposed to say that Janusz Peczek is like a legend of Polish pentathlon.
He is, and he's a legend in America as well. So he was voted Coach of the Year last year by the UIPM because his athlete, Margot Isaacson, who honestly, he's a bit of a father figure to her. So it was wonderful when she won the World Cup in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil last year. Janusz, he was standing there beside her at the podium, just like a beaming father. Couldn't have had a bigger smile.
Janusz Peczek, he got World Champion title twice. First time in 1977 in San Antonio, and the second time it was 1981 in Zielona Góra. It was the first time for Poland to organize World Championships, and we're supposed to say that it was in Zielona Góra. This is the city where I live. This is why I know Janusz Peczek and this history well.
You come from a great town. I've had the opportunity to train in Żonków, which is beside Zielona Góra, and spent a lot of wonderful days in the Polish countryside there. So Janusz brought the team over. This was back 25 years ago. But interestingly enough, the United States team, along with several other of the teams here, just finished a training camp in Żonków. So it's known as one of the great training sites around the world. So
it's like a capital of modern pentathlon.
It really is. It's truly one of the great capitals of the sport worldwide.
It's nice to hear that, because I live around there, so it's, I'm impressed about it.
So what do we have now? Looks like
we're waiting for the fourth round. Poland against Mexico. In a team of Mexico, we are going to see Elena Noguera and Thelma Martinez. Noguera is preparing herself for the performance.
Now don't forget, this is a one-touch game, so anything can happen in one touch, as we say in the sport. On the other hand, this is going to be a great little bit of an indicator for Poland. This is going to be a test for them. They are much stronger. The Polish team is a much stronger team than the Mexican team, so they should win this 2-0, this team match. So if they don't, then we'll have to see what that situation is. But
it will be surprised if it's
absolutely. And for the Poles to have a chance at the podium, to be on the podium today, I want to see a 2-0 victory here for Poland.
Elena Noguera, she's 30 years old. She's on the 71st Senior Pentathlon World Ranking.
Now the Mexicans train in Mexico City, and that's about just under 3,000 meters, high. So it's they have the benefit of the altitude.
Yeah.
So they are traditionally particularly good runners. So where you make your time, where you get your margin of victory against the Mexicans is here on the fencing piste.
Just 15 seconds left to finish this bout.
Now you're getting inside 10 seconds, and that puts the pressure on the weaker, on the better fencer actually. There's more chance of a mistake. And there you go, exactly. And how she was able, so you notice there was 3 seconds left on the clock. When you get inside 10 seconds, the pressure is actually on the better fencer. And they have to do something, because if time expires, it's a double defeat. Yeah. Both fencers lose, and that's a great advantage for the weaker fencer. Because if you can have the better fencer lose, even if you lose as well, then they don't get any points. So it's a strategy by weaker teams, particularly. So it was a mistake by the Polish athlete to let it go inside 10 seconds. She should have pressed the action and made something happen with more time left, so that so it wasn't so she didn't have to do a kamikaze attack.
So her mistake was because she was waiting too long.
She waited too long. That's right, and it cost her the bout. Now we need the Octavia Nowaska on the left side of the screen.
She is much more taller than Nogueira.
And she just saw what happened. She knows that they're losing now 1-0 to the Mexicans. They really need this victory. Poland needs this to stay in the hunt, just to tie it up at 1-1. And double touch. And notice how Nowaska's pressing. She's going right to it. She's not wasting any time. She saw what happened to her teammate.
So she's supposed to win, but this is sport, you never know.
That's right, and it's pentathlon, and it's one thing we know is that you never know. And look, she missed. Nowaska simply missed. The Mexicans win that.
For
that's
Polish
right.
Team.
And I hope that's not a indicator of things to come, because they really needed that, and it actually went the opposite. It was a 2-0 victory for Mexico.
So Nowacka and Skarzyńska cannot be satisfied about this performance against Mexico team. And the next round will be Mexico against Korea. Well, Korea can be favorite of this.
Absolutely. But also, don't forget, this is the beginning of the week of competition. You have 7 days basically of competition beginning today. This is the first event. And what's important is you need to understand that there's a lot of, we call it first round jitters. This is very early in the competition, so we just finished, for example, that was round 4. There's 15 total rounds today in the fencing. And early in the competition, you tend to be a little more nervous before you relax and settle in. And I think that's probably what happened to the Polish team there. In the case of Nowaska, it was just bad luck. She had the right distance, she had the right action, she missed. Just bad luck.
Yeah, but things like that happen in fencing. It's normal. And here on our screen is Daria Kaltsova from Kazakhstan.
Now we're back to strip A. And on strip A, like you said, we have Mexico and Korea. Korea on the right side of the screen, and Mexico on the left.
This is Minji Choi. She's on the 59th position in his senior World Cup ranking.
And don't forget the world rankings, the World Cup ranking list, they're very deceiving. An athlete, a very talented athlete, can have a not particularly high world ranking because it's based on the number of competitions you actually attend. So if you're a great athlete and you decide to only go to one World Cup, maybe you win it, and then you don't go to any of the others, your ranking will be 60th. It won't be at the top. In order to have a top 5 world ranking, you need to go to all the World Cups and do well. So it's a little deceiving to look at just the world rankings. Now, take a look at the fluidity of the Korean fencer on the right. Look how she moves on the strip. She's just much more at home. She looks like she belongs there. It's a very fluid action. Now we're inside 30 seconds. And once again, if the Korean lets this match go to the inside the 10, then the favorite swings to the Mexico. Mexico will have the advantage again inside 10 seconds because she's the weaker fencer. When there's very little time, it's much more likelihood of a mistake. Now you're inside 5 seconds.
Last
3,
seconds.
and there you go. Korea got it. Green light.
green light was
Green
on,
light
so
for Korea.
Korea wins 1-0 for the Koreans.
And 3 seconds on the clock. So these athletes are letting this time go inside 10 seconds. It's very dangerous to let it drop that deep into the time.
But anyway, for the weakest fencer, it's good to wait and to be a patient.
Exactly. For example, if you were fencing, the world champion, a guy who perhaps is much better than you, and you only have 3 seconds to fence, very little time, then anything can happen. I mean, there's only time for one single action, and that action is usually straight. If you have to do a lot of blade work, there's no time for the blade work. That's why if I'm counseling or coaching an athlete who I know their opponent is much better than them, I tell them to wait. So here we go. Korea on the right. This is the second match. Again, Korea is winning this match 1-0.
And this is Soo Jin Young
against Martinez.
That's right.
Now again, look at the Korean. That's a classical Korean style, by the way. The Koreans adopted their style. They were trained by the Russians and Germans. And it's interesting, there's 3 schools of fencing in the world. There's what we like to call the German school, then there's a French-Italian school, and there's a hybrid.
What's
a
the difference
mixture
between them?
French school, let's talk about the French. The French and the Italians have a tendency to be on French grips, the long straight handle. They go without the blade. There's not a lot of blade contact. They're very evasive. The German school is usually pistol grips, which is what both of these fencers are using, which is and a green light, and Korea takes another one. So that's a 2-0 win by Korea.
Great round for them.
It was a great round for them. She controlled the bout. The Korean gal over the Mexican, she simply was a better fencer. But back again to those 2 schools. The German school, which is what both of these fencers have, it's typically a pistol grip, and they go with the blade, which means there's a lot of blade contact, a lot of parries, a lot of blade work. Exactly opposite of what you find on the French and the Italian school. The distance and the movement is very similar, but it's whether you go with the blade or without the blade. So, and in my case, I was fortunate enough to win the World Championships in fencing with, and I'm very much a with the blade kind of guy. I'm left-handed, and I was taught through the German school, and I really did not like fencing fencers who were from the French school, because they're trying to avoid my blade. I'm trying to take their blade.
So in your opinion, the German school is one of the best?
In my opinion, I prefer the German school. They're both very good schools. It's a way of teaching, and it's frankly a way of fencing. It's a strategy. And you'll see, classically you'll see the French and the Italian teams very much on the French style, and they have their whole education system. Is built around that. How you become a fencing master, to be one of the top level coaches, you graduate from this school, and you learn those systems. So Tauber-Bischofheim is the home of the German school, which is a small town in central Germany, and Paris, France is the home of the French school.
The next team on the A pist is team relay of Kazakhstan, Daria Kaltsova and Ksenia Alexandrova. We're supposed to say that Daria Kaltsova was the 12th in the Junior World Championships in this year in Poland, but it was in mixed relay. And we are starting round number 6.
Kazakhstan on the right. She's looking for a green light. And Korea's on the left. Now both of these fencers are very similar styles. Kazakhstan pressing, so she's pushing. When you're pushing that close and making the distance, get so close that that your opponent can hit you just as easily as you can hit them. And we have a red light, so it's Korea over Kazakhstan.
Minji Choi, she won this bout, and now Ksenia Alexandrova. She's 23 years old.
So Alexandrova against Yang. Yang from Korea, she's on the red side. I like to call it whether it's red or green, because the scoring lights. So Kazakhstan's on the green, Korea's on the red. the Kazakish school, the Kazakh fencers, they came from, remember, Kazakhstan, part of the former Soviet Union, so the coaches were all educated through the old Soviet system, and the Soviet system, again, they're products of the German school. So you're going to have very similar styles here. I think what you've got, I think you're going to have, Korea has more experience. Frankly, they have a bigger budget, they have more money in their system, and the athletes are able to travel more and compete more, so they just simply have more experience. Kazakhstan needs to win this, but she really needs this first victory simply to have the opportunity for that second touch to, you know, so, because you have to have a winner, right?
Yeah.
Korea winning 1-0, currently leading. Again, notice the Kazakh fencer, she's pressing, pushing the Korean fencer back. What you try to do when you're pressing like that is you're trying to have your opponent attack, and
she wins.
She wins, exactly.
So, red light was on. And this bout is for team of Kazakhstan. And the next one will be Italy, so probably we're going to see typical Italy.
Yeah, the Italian school. And it's interesting, I think for our viewers, it's important to note that in this relay, you know, fencer 1 fences fencer 1 from the other team, fencer 2 fences fencer 2 from the other team. So that situation, what we just saw, ended up being a 1-1 score. It's not about really beating the other team per se, it's simply about trying to accrue or to acquire, to win as many victories as possible, because each one of those victories translates to seconds on the combined. Everything that we do in the sport of pentathlon translates to amount of time, 1 point per second on the last event, the combined event, the laser shooting and running event. So it's important to have as many points as you possibly can to give you as big a lead if you're the leader.
Yeah.
And if you're not the leader, you want to be as close to the leader as you possibly can get. So it's all about trying to get as many victories as possible. A 1-1 tie, basically, on a team situation is the minimum. You want to have as many 2-0 victories as you can, but realistically, you're only going to get a small percentage, maybe 20% for a good team, 20 or 30%. The rest of the bouts, you need to be 1-1, and you can let down 1 or 2 teams where you're 0-2. That's the formula. That's the recipe for success. If you're having a bad day and you only have a couple of 2-0 victories and more 0-2s and then a bunch of 1-1s, you're going to finish in the middle of the pack and you're not going to make the podium. So these athletes are trying to accrue as many victories as they can. So Kazakhstan on the left, Italy on the right. Now the Italian fencer is using a pistol grip, but that doesn't. Notice how her front leg is extended, her arm is further out. She's got a very tight game, which means she's not moving her blade very much. That is a classic sign of the Italian school.
She's really low on her legs.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's low, which expends a lot of energy. When you're in that low position, you're crouched like that, you're using a lot of energy out of your legs. I mean, these girls are going to be tired. It's a long day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's better to start and finish competition at one day.
Oh, absolutely. Amen to that. The Kazakhstan fencer on the left.
Italy on the right.
Yeah, and remember how the Kazakhstan and another double touch. Again, double touches mean nothing. So that's 2 doubles.
And still 18 seconds left.
And what's happening is these fencers they're pushing each other, they're letting the distance get close, and they're simply extending at the same time. So it's a simultaneous attack. Now we're going to inside 10 seconds. Inside 10. And Italy takes the victory.
Lavinia Bonesio wins. And the next one will be Camila Lontano.
Do you think Bonesio was happy with that?
Yeah, definitely yes. Green light was on, so this is what is it all about.
Absolutely. And you try to create momentum. When you take that victory, your teammate is behind you, and they're up, you're high-fiving each other. You get a certain amount of momentum. It's like it's a team sport like every other team sport. When you start pushing that weight forward, it creates its own inertia, and momentum's a real important thing. So Italy's got the momentum right now. They've got the forward momentum. They're winning 1-0 in this team event.
Now Kamila Lontano, she's 22 years old. And Ksenia Alexandrova.
Now Alexandrova on the left from Kazakhstan. Double touch, and I'll tell you what, Italy was lucky on that because Kazakhstan hit the Italian in the foot, and the Italian was able to hit her in the wrist at the same moment, and that's rare. So I think the Kazakh fencer can consider. And there you go, you got an attack from Italy on the right.
Italy win.
She attacked right off the bat, didn't waste any time, and that's an example of momentum. She was excited off of her teammates' win, the 1-0. She gets up, she knows she's a stronger fencer, she feels she's a stronger fencer, and she was confident and she made the attack. There you go, 2-0 victory for Italy.
So this is the end of the 6th round, no, 7th.
Yep, we're going to be starting round 8 here in a moment.
So it's going to be Italy against Ireland. Lavinia Bonescia, Kamila Lontano. Let me find team of Ireland.
Irish team is an interesting team. The Irish they developed their program through the British program. You know, they're neighbors with Great Britain and the UK. Great Britain and the United Kingdom in general has had a tremendous tradition in the sport of modern pentathlon, and so their federation is quite old, but they come and go. You know, I mean, they'll have some athletes in the program, that compete at the international level, and then they'll disappear for a while. You don't hear about Ireland, and then a few years later they'll come back into the program, and they'll have some juniors that have come up. So the Irish program is not particularly one of the strongest. It's developing. But their neighbor, of course, to the south, the Great Britain, is a very strong team, and they're very helpful in the development of Ireland. So let's see what we've got with the Irish team here.
Jennifer McGiver and Kate
Coleman. Now, you're going to, in my opinion, my prediction on this is you're going to see Italy push. They know that they're a stronger team. The Italians are coming off a 2-0 victory over Kazakhstan. They've got momentum. They don't see the Irish very often because the Irish don't travel that much, so it's not like you see them on the World Cup circuit very much. So they're a little unfamiliar. So I would anticipate seeing a little bit of caution in the beginning, just trying to feel each other out, and then I would expect to see Italy press, and that's exactly what you got here.
Italian athletes start pushing the pressure for the opponent.
Bonescia, the Italian on the left, she's pressing, keeping her blade very quiet. I expect to see a straight attack out of this. She's watching her distance. But it's a little bit, they say fencing is like a chess game, so it's physical chess. And you have the Irish girl's a little taller, and there you go, attack from Italy. The Irish girl beat her though. The attack came from Italy. She kept her blade low and had her guard low, and so by having her guard low, she exposed her shoulder. And the Irish girl being taller, she simply extended, and having the reach, she was able to hit her in the shoulder, and so you had an Irish victory. Now let's see if the next Italian fencer, if Lontano, learned a lesson from her teammates' defeat.
So it was a little unexpected.
It was a little unexpected, but that's what happens in one touch. One touch, it's anybody's game, and that's
just a moment. So
sure, exactly. So Kamila Lontano from Italy on the left. She's looking for the red light. She's got a 1-0 deficit. She's behind the Italians. Now again, you've got pressure from Italy. Italy's making the pressure. And the reason she's doing so is she knows she's a stronger fencer. That's why she's putting the pressure on. Double touch. The Irish girl wants to, and it's a quick attack from Italy, and has the victory.
So it's 1-1.
And she needed that. Italy needed that victory simply to come home with a little self-respect. She needed those points. And frankly, the Italians just have a significant amount of experience more than the Irish. And I think Ireland can count themselves happy that they were able to come out of that team match 1-1 with one victory.
And now we are waiting for another very interesting round. Ireland against Hungary. In team of Hungarian, Tamara Alexeyev and Kamila Reti. Tamara Alexeyev, she is a really experienced athlete. But we are gonna see which one of the teams will be better in this round. Round number 9.
The Hungarian team is a very interesting team. Neither of these two women on the Hungarian team are their strongest athletes. Their strongest, Sofia Foldhazy, who you'll see here later in the week, is their
individual.
In the individual, she is their big gun. She's junior world champion. She's one of the bright stars of the Hungarian team, and they hope for her to make the podium in the Rio Olympic Games in 2 years. So they're resting Foldhazy at the moment. So they've got their number 3 and number 4 athletes competing here. Young athletes. They're looking for experience. So I did not speak with their coaches, but I think their game plan is pretty obvious. I think what they're trying to do is get these younger athletes on the field of play, trying to get some experience under their belts at the World Championship level, and hopefully that even though they're competing later in the week, the experience they'll learn today in this women's relay will actually help them significantly because of their youth and their young later in the week of competition. You have Hungary against Ireland, yes. Hungary on the right, Ireland on the left. The Hungarian girls, Hungarian much better fencer, and you've got a Hungarian victory. She's simply. I've trained in Hungary. I've trained with the Hungarian team. They have a very strong program. They have excellent coaches. They are well funded. The athletes get a lot of experience, and that was just evident from the command fence. The Hungarian walked the Irish girl down the strip, took command of the match, and made a simple straight attack and walked away with the victory. They simply outclassed the Irish at this.
Now we are going to see how it's going to be in the case of Kamila Reti. She is much more younger than Tamara Alexeyev, but she's really talented athlete. In last year she got second place with team relay in Junior World Championships in Hungary with Zofia Foldhazy.
And again, the Hungarians, they're a powerhouse. Irish, though, they are spunky. They have a lot of character. They're fighters. And look, notice how the Hungarian, she's pushing her down the strip. She's taking command of the bout. Easy victory for Hungary. Oh, looks like a double touch.
So they will be continued.
Yeah.
There is still 45 seconds left.
Hungary's pressing. She presses. Oh. 2-0 for Hungary.
It was really fast. I even haven't seen how she has done it.
Yeah, exactly. The camera angle wasn't the best for us, but what was clear there is that the Hungarians came here to win. I mean, that was what was obvious to me on the strip. It's going to be great to see this Hungarian team throughout the week, to see how their preparation. And again, in the sport of pentathlon, as it is for most Olympic sports, these are stepping stones to the Olympic Games. It's all about trying to make the podium at the Olympic Games for Rio 2016. And the coaches are watching how they're performing. They're evaluating how these athletes are performing. Countries have different selection systems, for their teams. So it's critical for these girls to perform here in front of their coaches to show them that they have the right stuff to compete on the world stage when it comes to Rio 2016. Got the Irish coach counseling them there.
And Alexeyev again on our screens. So we can say that 9 rounds is right behind us. In front of us, round number 10, Hungary against team of Guatemala. Sofia Hernandez and Ximena Dieguez.
Now the Guatemalan team, coming from Central America, they had a Romanian coach for a number of years. And the Romanian is now the British coach. He sees, you know, the coaches, they're journeymen, right? They travel around the world. They're sort of, in many cases, they work for the highest bidder. So if you're in the market for looking for, like any sport.
Yeah,
you know?
that's normal, that's normal.
Yeah, exactly, that's the sporting game. But the athletes that are competing here were all brought under Marian Gheorghe from Romania, who was a very talented athlete in my time. And he went to Guatemala. He built the Guatemalan program to the level of the Europeans. So there's a number of Guatemalans. When 20 years ago you looked at Guatemala and you didn't. It was one of those teams that was like, oh, this is an easy team. This is a pushover match. Not so today. The Guatemalans have come a long way, largely under the development by Marian Gheorghe, and the coach today is Walid.
From Egypt, yeah.
From Egypt. He's a member of the technical committee for the UIPM, so he has a lot of experience. Frankly, he's a wonderful guy. He's a great coach, and he's leading the Guatemalan team today. So, if this match was occurring, 20 years ago, I'd say this is going to be a walk in the park for the Hungarians. Not so today. I think they're going to have to do a little bit of fighting. I still think the Hungarians are going to walk away with a victory in this match, but I think Guatemala is going to put up a good fight. So we'll see.
So Hungarians on the left, and they are waiting for the red light.
Yep, they're looking
on the right side. Team relay of Guatemala, Sofia Hernandez. She's the younger member of the Guatemalan team.
And again, Guatemala is doing the same thing that Hungary is. These are the number 3 and 4 girls on the team. So I think you're going to see, and that's exactly what Hungary is doing. So in both cases, both Hungary and Guatemala, they're the 3 and 4th position girls. Again, coach is putting them in, get some experience, get these jitters out of the way on the first day, so that when you get into the women's semifinal, in a couple of days, they'll be much better prepared. So here goes the match. Hungary off to a fast start, pushing right away. Again, she does that because she knows she's a better fencer, and she's going to control the match. Her idea, it's that old expression, right? If you play the music, your partner has to dance to it. So what the Guatemalan girl needs to do is simply not dance to the music. Even though
yeah, but it's not going to be easy, especially that Sofia Hernandez is really young. She's just 17 years old, and Tamara Alexeyev is...
Easy victory for Hungary.
26.
It was a straight attack. It just showed superior training, superior strength, superior speed. And frankly, from Guatemala, we say a deer in the headlights. It's what it looked like to me, that she's this is her first senior world championships. She's simply... nervous, stage fright, shall we say. That's what we see out there. So this was probably a very good decision for the coach to put her in now, to get this out of her system.
Get some experience.
Get it out of her system before the individual.
Now Ximena Diegues on the left, on the right. On the left, Camila Reti.
And you're going to see the same thing here. You're going to see, I believe you're going to watch the Reti from Hungary. Again on the left side, I'm looking for the red light. She is going to press. Yep, she's standing at the middle line. She's crossed the middle line. She's now on the Guatemalan side of the piste, the playing field. She's pressing. Hungary's in, and Guatemala pulled it off. That was an interesting match, and she did so. That was a little bit of, I hate to use the word arrogance, but a little bit of arrogance on the side of the Hungarians. She knew she was a better fencer. She got a little too close to the fire, and she got burned. So that's what you had there. And credit to Guatemala for keeping her point in line and being patient under pressure. So the final score there was 1-1.
And it's an unexpected result.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yep. And Guatemala can be proud of that result. And Hungary needs to be a little more careful, because each one of these touches is absolutely critical.
But they don't look like really upset about 1-1.
It's a long day. It's a long day, and you're gonna lose the occasional match. At the end of the day, the holy grail of the sport in terms of fencing, you want to win 70% of your matches. If you can win 7 out of 10, you've done really well. And so, which means you can lose 30%. So the occasional loss is acceptable.
It was round number 10. In front of us, round number 11, Guatemala against Germany.
And remember, this competition is moving right along. There's only 15 rounds today, so we're down to 5 rounds.
But we are still waiting for the ladder system, which starts at 11 o'clock. It's gonna be probably really interesting.
The ladder,
because it's a kind of test before next Olympic Games.
Absolutely, and the ladder is the sports, the modern pentathlon's answer to the broadcasting question. You know, for broadcasters for example, what we're doing today, we're focusing on strip A. To put cameras on the entire room and show every fencing match is, frankly,
it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
This is imagine golf. That's basically what you have here. You have you know, golfers starting out at different parts of the course.
Yeah.
So we're following one strip just as if we were following one hole, you know, focusing in a golf match. So what the ladder does, it allows the cameras and the spectators and the media to focus on one strip, you know, at only one, and that's what the ladder is. The athletes will start from the bottom, the poorest performers, all the way up to the top. So they'll come out and they'll fence one team match. The winner keeps going. And it's really a bonus system. It allows you keep the points that you have from this event, from the round robin, and then you try to achieve bonus points, additional points. So if you're at the top, you want to stay at the top or perhaps increase your lead. And if you're further down the bottom, you want to close that gap as much as possible. And the ladder allows that opportunity. Very, very exciting. Lots of pressure. And it's a white hot spotlight on the
So
on
do
the
you
athletes.
think the ladder system can make modern pentathlon more interesting for viewers, or?
No question. The sport is one of the leaders in terms of its evolution, in terms of recognizing how using technology and not being a dinosaur, not saying, oh, we've done this for 100 years so we're going to keep doing it, but realizing that technology changes, broadcasting changes, people's tastes and interests change. So for example, in my country, ultimate fighting, there's a lot of different sports that are coming along, and this is our answer to try to keep it interesting. Now, this is Lena Schoenbaum from Germany on the right, the green light. Lena's the Olympic champion from Beijing, 2008. Tremendous amount of experience that Lena has. And again, she's on a French grip. This is absolutely counterintuitive to what I just said about the German school. Here you have the best German, and very much on a French grip and fencing in very much a French style. I personally have had the opportunity to fence with Lena. She's controlling the match because she knows she's a better fencer.
As you said, she's really experienced. She's at the 4th place in senior ranking.
And she's a simple straight attack. That was for Hernandez from Guatemala. She really needs to wake up. Lena obviously happy. She knows that there were a couple of opportunities there for the Guatemalan to have hit her, because she had a little bit of, I hate to use the word arrogance again, but you know, she knows she's that much better. So you have to be cautious when you know you're the better fencer, because this isn't a match that you should win. It's a match that you must win. So Lena, and that's what you just saw there. You had a match situation where there was under no circumstances could Lena afford to lose that one. Annika Schlu from Germany now, coming up on the right side. Annika's is the teammate
of Lena Schoenbaum.
Oh yeah. Annika has done. The Germans have trained with us in the United States quite a bit, so we've had the opportunity to get to know these girls. Now here you have Annika on the right-hand side from Germany, very much on the German school. All right, so pistol grip goes with the blade. Again, she's going to be controlling the match. She's going to cross the center line here in a second. She's pushing. If you're Guatemala, what you should be thinking is, I'm not going to do the same thing that my teammate did and lose. So she needs to fight a little more back, and you'll see a few more attacks coming from Guatemala, which means Walid's doing a good job on his coaching. Inside 30 seconds. Schlu, of course, from Germany, does not have the talent that Schoenbaum has, but she's still quite good.
By the way, team relay of Germany was second team relay in this year's Senior European Championships. And what's the result?
Germany takes it, and I'll tell you, Guatemala had a chance there. There was on the first exchange.
No, it's 1-1.
Oh, well, Germany got that.
No,
It
Guatemala.
was
red light on, so it's 1-1.
So Guatemala. So what I saw in the beginning actually was the Guatemalan touch. So that was a great opportunity. Schlu pressed got inside. The Guatemalan girl simply kept her point in line, allowed the distance to creep, and there's Walid coaching there. It's a great example. Great example of good coaching. It's a little difficult for us in the studio here because of the lights. It's seeing which lights comes on when and camera angles, but it's nice to see. That was an example of Germany being outcoached by Walid. Now the German coach is actually quite good, Kim Reisner. She's has a long history in the sport, is an accomplished individual athlete herself for Germany. She's run the women's program for quite some time, and of course the big feather in her hat was being the coach of Lena Schoenebaum when she won the gold medal in Beijing. Lena there, working and putting her hair up. Lena is she's one of the favorites in this competition in the individual. And for Kim Reisner to put Lena in the women's relay today means that she's trying to get her used to the competition, get her used to the environment, just simply work out we like to say the jitters, work the bugs out here, because from both the men's and the women's sides, the big prize is the individual title. And of course, Kim Reisner, the German coach, knows that Schoenebaum has a real chance to get that title.
And she is not just Olympic champion; she is also senior European champion. She was first in Székesfehérvár in Hungary in this year. So
now you've got
that she had really successful year.
Sure. Look, now you've got Samantha Murray here from Great Britain on the right. Samantha is the Olympic silver medalist from the London Games 2 years ago. Sam was able to. Our girl, Margot Isaacson, was fourth in London, and the difference between fourth and the silver medal was the match between Samantha Murray and Margot Isaacson. Samantha attacked from the command fence, and she was able to win against Margot, in the individual. And the difference of that one victory was the difference between getting fourth and winning a silver medal. So these individual single touches are absolutely mission critical. Samantha has, after the Olympics, comes home with a silver medal competing at home in front of 60,000 people in the Olympic Stadium in Greenwich Park, actually. She took a little time off, so she's coming back into the sport. So we'll see what sort of level of fitness she has. So you have the Olympic gold medalist from the Beijing Games on the left from Germany, and you have the Olympic silver medalist from the London Games on the right from Great Britain.
So it's going to be very interesting bout.
Both very, very talented athletes. Samantha Murray is pressing, but I really believe, Lena Schoenebaum is a better fencer. You have double touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lena is allowing Samantha to press and close and get in on the distance. But this is not a match that they're both very good, and there's a bit of equality there. So you'll see the distance back and forth, and Schoenebaum red light. And that was
so it's 1-0 for Germany?
No.
They will be continue.
Let's see what they didn't. They
maybe it was double touch.
Yeah. Now Samantha Murray. I think they simply made a mistake on the scoreboard. This is the first match. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
so it's 1-0 for
Great Britain. Right. That touch that appeared to go to Schoenebaum was the point was down. So what happened is the referee ruled that as a floor touch. So it didn't count, so they continued defense, and that was there's nothing dramatic or fancy about the hit for Great Britain. It was just one of those hits. But again, you had a gold medalist fencing an Olympic silver medalist. If you're going to lose a match, that's one that you can, okay, fair enough. It wasn't one of those I must win this match.
Now Alice Fitton. She was second in individual and third in a relay competition in European Junior Championships this year in Minsk, Belarus.
Yeah, now Fitton for Great Britain on the right. She's a young athlete. She's new to the program, new to the national team, especially at the senior level. So, and you can look at her style. She's not as home on the piste as her opponent from Germany, Annika Schlu. But she's pressing. She's, I would say they're both back by the on-guard line. So there's not. I wouldn't say there's a leader, if you will, in terms of who's pressing the match. Great Britain has coached the head coach, Jan Bartu, who is a former Czech Olympic bronze medalist from the '76 games. He finished third to Janusz Paycheck when Janusz won his gold medal. So, and there you go, Annika Schlu, simple straight attack, straight lunge. She lunged underneath her opponent's blade. It's a little risky because she kept her blade low, and had the British fencer extended, it would have been a double touch.
So but, Germany, Great Britain, 1-1.
Yep, and that was an important match for the Germans to tie it up and not end up. We call a zero. If you have 0 victories, that's called a goose egg. So you don't want to have goose eggs in this event, and Annika Schlu was able to save Germany from that goose egg. Note how Lena Schonebaum is writing in her book. Most of the top athletes keep a record. They keep a book on each of their important bouts, their matches, and what she's going to do is she'll go back to that book before the Olympic Games, and she will read this the night before, and she'll even carry it with her, and she'll take a look and say, okay, when I fenced Samantha Murray in Warsaw, Poland 2 years ago, this is what happened. I lost, and here's why I lost. So she's making a mental note of that. It's I kept that book in my head, so which is
yeah, but
why
it's
I wasn't
nice to have a book like that to,
absolutely.
to, you know, to remember some things. Just a few rounds left.
3 rounds to go.
Great Britain, Czech Republic against China, and the last one will be China against Belarus.
And the Chinese have got a very strong team.
That's true, that's true. So we can expect really nice bouts with participation of Team Relay of China. And now round number 14, Great Britain against Czech Republic, Lucy Grolichova and Barbora Kodedova, Czech on the right, and Team Relay of Great Britain on the left.
So you have Kodedova from the Czech Republic on the right, Samantha Murray, again the Olympic silver medalist from London. She's on the left. Sam has that battle face going on. She's you don't have a lot of smiling there, so she's very focused on her match. They were in the final 3 rounds, and for the fencers, you can make or break the competition in your last few rounds. A lot of fencers, a lot of athletes, they tend to get either physically tired or mentally tired towards the end of the competition or end of the fencing event, and they get it's like putting Vaseline on a lens. It's like your vision gets a little blurry, you're not as sharp. If you're going to have a cup of coffee, this is a good time to have it. So it's really time to buckle down, to concentrate and focus on your last. For example, we have 3 rounds left. That means each one of these fencers has 3 matches left, 3 one-touch bouts. So they need to focus on that. I think that's what you're seeing etched in Samantha Murray's face.
So this is very important part of the fencing event. The last 3 chances to get some points.
Kodedova from the Czech Republic on the right. She's on a French grip. She's got that extra 2 or 3 inches by holding the blade back, behind the guard. Murray, though, is controlling the action. Notice how she's past the center line. And she's very quiet, she's not a lot of action movement there.
Just 30 seconds left.
Sam has a very good straight flush. Double touch, nothing done. Both fencers hit. Again, same thing, double touch. Inside 30 seconds. Both fencers very classical. Classical positions. Again, in épée you can hit any part of the body. Sam has a very good straight flush. You just saw it there. That's her bread and butter. So what she's trying to do is close the distance, get the distance close, let the opponent make a slight mistake where there's a little opening, and bang. Victory for the Czech girl from Kodedova from Czech Republic. She was able to get that victory. Samantha let the distance get too close, and the Czech girl was simply able to do a straight extension, and that was a result of Samantha Murray being simply too close. She needed to be a half a meter back further distance and start her attack from there. So this is a good feedback for Samantha Murray as she prepares for the individual.
Now on the A-piste, Barbora Kodedova from Lucy Grolichova from Czech Republic. She was born in 1978, but I won't say that she's the oldest athlete of this competition. I'm gonna say that she's one of the most experienced here. So
that is the way to say it. She's a lady.
Yeah,
we don't discuss age. Golikova from the Czech Republic on the right. You've got Alice Fitton from Great Britain on the left. Now it's interesting. Both these athletes, there's not a lot of, are not on the international scene that often. So there's not a lot of background that we have on either one. Again, the Czech girl controlling the match, and that gets messy. That gets messy. Yeah, there's nothing done. But when that's called kora, which is simply body to body, that's the action. And when the rule is that when you do go body to body and there's contact, the referee must stop the action. But until he says halt, double touch. Czech girl being very aggressive. Golikova from the Czech Republic, again, she's playing the music here, and Alice Fitton from Great Britain is doing some of the dancing. So we need to, I think what you're going to see, if I was the British coach, I'd be telling Alice from Fitton to do a straight attack, but we'll see. It looks like a victory for Great Britain.
That's what she has done.
Exactly. Well, maybe I should be a coach. Now we're going to watch the Chinese. Enter China. And they are both very good, very talented athletes. There is so much depth on the Chinese team. It's extraordinary. I would, if I was a betting man, I would put some money on the Chinese being on the podium at the end of this day. And you know what? And I'd put the Poles in there too, but the hometown favorites. But you've got, I mean, my God,
Wang Xiaoliang and Yang Chen.
They're both. I can't say enough good things about the Chinese program. I just came from China. Was in Nanjing for the Youth Olympic Games. Was able to once again see their program up close and personal. They have everything that you need to make great Olympic athletes. They have the coaches. They have the facilities. They have the population. I mean, they have an immense population from which to draw from. The sport of fencing, in particular, and pentathlon, of course, ancillary to fencing, is very, very popular in China. The Chinese people follow their Olympic champions. They follow and both of these girls, both Liang and Chen, are both champions. So let's see how they do here. Wang Xiaoliang, so we just Liang on the right, Kodetova from the Czech Republic on the left,
Yes.
on the red light. Chinese looking for the green light, Czech Republic looking for the red light. Chinese have extraordinary discipline. They have extraordinary physicality. I mean, you're watching, she's controlling the bout, Liang's controlling the bout, looking for opportunities. She's very fast, she's very strong, she has the height advantage. It doesn't appear because she's crouched, but she does have it.
She's just great.
She's just great. That's what it comes down to. We'll see, though. It's one touch, so anything can happen. We're moving inside 30 seconds. And China gets the victory. Green light for China. What happened was the Czech girl, Kodetova, simply, she made a low action, which is anything below the belt. That's what I call a low line action. It's a cardinal sin in the sport of in one-touch fencing when the distance is close to go for low actions or low percentage shots. You want to go for high percentages. So going for a low action, it's a low percentage. It was simply a mental error, in my opinion, on part of the Czech girl, and Liang from China simply capitalized on that mistake, and it was an easy victory for her.
Chinese are favorites of this round, I would say, but Golikova, she's much more taller, so
now
it can be trouble for Chinese.
Chen has a very fast hand. She's on a French grip. You're right. She's smaller, but look at that French grip that she's on. She's holding at the back of the handle. That gives her an extra 3+ inches. So imagine her being 3 or so inches taller than she actually is. She's also very, very fast, and she comes from, believe it or not, a boxing background. She was a competitive boxer before she got into pentathlon, and it's a Chinese victory. 2-0. Fast hand. That boxing experience gives her...
Is it similar to
fencing? Listen, fencing is boxing with one hand. That's really what it is. You're moving. instead of a ring, you have a piece.
Yeah.
You know, but in fact, our team, the U.S. team, actually trains with the boxers. We train with our boxing team. We do a lot of drills together. We do a lot of fencing is a combat sport. It's a fighting sport. Boxing is a fighting sport. It's the same sort of thing. You're blocking. Your repost is simply like a block and a jab. You're feeling your opponent out. You're looking for openings. Everything that a boxer does, we do.
And working with the legs is really
Absolutely.
similar.
And looking for the rhythm, judging your opponent. It's very, very similar to boxing. Except the boxers don't wear the white uniforms. And that's the interesting little tidbit. You know, the white uniforms come from the days of the duels, when people fought for, you know, everybody thinks that duels were fought to the death, and there's certainly people did die, but duels were really fought to first blood, you know, and then typically by the aristocracy, you know, the wealthy people of the time, and so there'd be some sort of a infraction, or, you know, you felt you've been violated, so you challenge your opponent to a duel. You would go to some place, you'd take off your jacket, typically, and gentlemen in those times, underneath their jacket, they wore white shirts. And the white showed blood. So
yeah.
and
it's easy to see red color on the
yeah,
white.
exactly. So from that ancient tradition several hundred years ago, that's where the white uniforms have come from.
Now we are waiting for the last round. We are gonna see bout between Chinese and Belarus team relay. Katsiarina Arol and Anastasia Prokopenko. First one is Junior World Championship from 2013 in team relay, and also in individual in Junior World Championships in Bulgaria.
This is going to be an interesting test for the Chinese team. Again, you've got the Belarusian on the right. She's on the back of a French grip. She's already a tall girl, obviously, and she's making herself taller. Notice how she's throwing the blade out and she's then cutting across. She throws it out and cuts across. She's looking to hit China on the inside of the hand and provoke an attack. Because by passing the blade in front of the body, she's hoping that Liang from China will do a straight attack, and she'll simply parry the blade, block the blade on the way back, and repost to the body. She's trying to draw that attack. We'll see if it's successful. It's going to be a good test again for China. If China's able to pull a 2-0 victory out of this, then I put them on the top of the podium for the day. That means they're ready. They came here loaded for bear.
Probably they will be leading after fencing.
Absolutely. You got inside 20 seconds. Again, Belarus is pressing China. She's trying to draw that attack. That's exactly what she's doing, and she's fast. We're down inside 10, so we're in 5 seconds to go. A lot of pressure now. Double touch.
So there is still 3 seconds left.
3 seconds.
This is not enough time for
but yet it's also, when you're out there, it's all day. She does a drop shot, double touch. This is going to be a double defeat. Let's see what happens. If the referee separates them. She did a simple drop shot. That is rare to get that off inside 1 second.
That was great.
Oh, extraordinary. And notice there's still 1 second on the clock, which means that the amount of time that is actually left was probably 1.8, something like that. So that touch, the referee starts the clock when he says fence, and his thumb probably wasn't fast enough to get to the start button before that attack was actually engaged. Great shot on part of the Belarusian girl. So
Katsiarina Arol, she was fastest than referee.
And it was a drop shot. When you're inside that amount of time, you don't have time to think what your opponent's going to do or look at what your opponent. You simply make a decision. I'm offense or I'm defense, and you have to go with it. She clearly believed that the Chinese girl was going to attack, which she did, and so the Belarusian girl simply drop shot. She dropped low and let the Chinese girl go over her head and hit her underneath, and that was a very, very good strategy. Here's the last match of the day on Strip A. So Qian Chen from China.
And Anastasia Prokopenko on the right.
From Belarus. So Chen from China, again, she's back on her French grip. She needs to salvage this day. She needs that victory so you don't end up with a goose egg. Oh, look at that. Belarus continued the attack. No, they didn't give it. So he called halt. Referee clearly called halt before the touch. I'm not sure that was a good referee decision. Hate to second guess the refs, but I think I would in that case. She attacked and then she continued the attack. Okay, here we are, they're back. coming down to the 22nd mark. Chen is letting the Belarusian girl, and again, she did it again. Continued the attack. She made the initial attack, there was no touch, and then she continued the attack. The continuation is what put Chen off guard. She wasn't ready for it, she didn't react, and she got hit.
And she has done it.
Yep.
Great bound for Belarus team.
And that's and as I said, that was a great test for China. And by Belarus winning 2-0, this is going to be a very interesting competition today.
So 15 rounds.
Look at her. She's very happy. She knew what she was doing. This girl can fence on the international level, not just in pentathlon, but in fencing. She's a very good fencer.
She has done really good job, especially in the last round. So this is why Belarus team won this bout. So it was the last round of 15 which we have planned for today. Now we are just waiting for the ladder system, which starts at 11 o'clock.
Well, the ladder is going to be exciting. I can't wait to see the results, to see who's actually the leader after the 15 rounds this morning. Again, you know, until that match with Belarus, I would have put China up there, but we'll see what happens. And the ladder, again, it's the bonus round for this sport. So these athletes are going to be trying to earn additional points. If you're the leader, you want to keep your position. But everybody else is going to be chasing, you know, the leaders, and it's a way again for the sport to showcase itself to the spectators, to the media, and most importantly to the broadcasters. You know, these athletes aren't just competing to the spectators in the arena. Every athlete, think of themselves as actors. They're performers. They are performing, and they want an audience. And the big audience are viewers at home. So they're looking for their, you know, we're hoping in the millions of people, because this is a global broadcast. And so around the world, we're looking for a multi-million number of viewers to watch this event, to be excited, and to see these girls, these athletes who've trained so hard, so for not just this year, but for decades, you know, perform on the world stage here in Warsaw.
So now we are waiting for the ladder system. Hopefully it's gonna be really great show. Thank you for being with us, and see you later.
We'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Good job. I won't be late again.
Not bad, not bad.
Víš všechno, radar systém se počítá dodávky.